Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown between two mighty warriors. On the left-hand side, we have Eruption leading Foot Bretonnia. Yes, you heard that right. Foot Bretonnia up against Horus and his High Elf legions. Should be a really good fun game with two rather interesting builds. Now, Foot Bretonnia may be considered a bit of a meme. They, of course, are a mass horse faction in general. In fact, we have a really cool replay that should hopefully be coming up on the channel quite soon with all Cavalry Bretonnia. But this is the opposite, and actually, up against High Elves, I don't hate it at all. In the front line, we do have double battle pilgrims, the basic ones, and in the centre, the holy wardens. These guys, regiment renowned, been taking some lessons from Beric Dondarrion and making their swords go all glorious and flaming. Coming with those flaming and magic attacks. Of course, flaming attacks, I should say, pretty bad up against High Elves in general. They have a lot of flame resistant stuff, but these guys do come in frenzy, immune to psychology, and it looks like they have the icon of devotion as well, plus 12 leadership and immune to psychology. That's probably coming in from the Grail Reliquary. It is indeed. So awesome little unit there as well to make the front line fight a little while longer. On the flanks, we do have men-at-arms with polearms, a good counter to enemy horsemen, and then a bucket ton of filthy, unwashed peasants. Actually, these ones are silver chevroned peasant bowmen, so these guys are just about washed once a week, and silver chevron, they should be able to pack a real decent punch from long range, and there's a huge horde of them. In the back lines, we have more men-at-arms with polearms, as well as some foot squires, just to make it a little bit more of an elite back pocket to help protect a blessed field trebuchet we do have in deep reserve. Leading the forces here, we do have a Damsel of Heavens, which is a really cool pick, coming in with a Comet of Cassandora as well as the very useful Wind Blast, a very competitive spell throughout the years of Total War Warhammer's existence. And we have a basic Arse Lord on foot, but he is coming in with Deadly Onslaught as well as Stand Your Ground and Foe Seeker. Not often you get to see a Lord relegate himself down to the dirty ground, which peasants do also walk on. Really fun build, but going massively wide up against the High Elves can be rather effective, so it's interesting to see how it works. And we have a completely different style of build here coming in from the High Elves, very elite. Triple Rangers in the front line. These guys, of course, are relatively cheap and cheerful, but apart from that, they have the Talons, regiment renowned archers, who of course do imbue that weakness to fire damage. Double Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower in the back, a mighty Star Dragon with a chevron up in the sky on the right-hand side, and on the left we have Teclis on his big bird. When he first came out, this was incredibly obnoxious and disgustingly powerful, but I think over time people slowly learned how to deal with it, and I don't actually get to see him terribly often on this beastie. He's coming with the Sword of Teclis, Bound, Fiery Convocation. Here's, of course, his Potion, Regrowth, Enfeebling Foe, Net of Amantok, as well as the Greater Arcane Conduit. We also have a Mage of High Magic down on the floor, so two mages also coming with that Fiery Convocation, Tempest, and Apotheosis, and the items to get more Winds of Magic. Maybe you can get away with that a little bit because of Teclis' ending pool of magic he seems to be able to drag on from. We also have double Illyrian Reavers in the back line, so a little bit of harass, who are certainly trying to look and shut down that blessed field trebuchet where possible. But here we go, guys. The battle is underway, and Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers sing in the skies as bolts crash down on these poor battle pilgrims. They do hold their shields in this really interesting way. They have them upside down. Like, someone did tell me the lore reason behind this before. I think it might be a respect thing for the knights, but I'll have to double check that in the future at some point. For now, it's not going to help them too much as big bolts do slaughter them, and I can see the shadow of a mighty bird flying forward as Teclis does have a little bit of a look on him to see what is going on in this back line. May even just decide to float over and destroy the blessed field trebuchet. Looks like the Beast Slayers of Baston, which are the regiment renowned foot squires, are back here to protect, or they are slowly getting dragged away to have a little look at the Illyrian Reavers before realising their mistake and deciding to rush backwards as quickly as possible to the trebuchet, but this mighty Teclis will be able to destroy it very quickly, or at least tear out these guys, and it looks like they're already terrified just by his mere presence. But he is getting pelted by poison arrows. All these pesky pox arrows are going to be slowing him down, and if he gets caught by the Beast Slayers, this could be good night sweet prince to Teclis as he does bumble around one of these field trebuchets, which actually gets destroyed by some peasant crossfire. It looks like Illyrian Reavers are darting in onto the Beast Slayers as a distraction just to allow Teclis to escape. And he's going to have to pop a heal on himself very early on here. This is really bad news for him, already having to waste a regrowth. However, this unit of Illyrian Reavers has stayed far too long in combat and are probably going to get deleted. But the second unit, beautiful play by the High Elves, chase down the Blessed Field Trebuchet, get it off the field straight away. And now the Bretonians have no other option but to come towards you. Looks like they took a little bit of beatings from the Trebuchet, but nothing too scary on a couple of units of Rangers. At this point, I would just hop down with Teclis on top of these battle programs. Looks like that's just what he's going to be doing. Through the rain of bolts, he's trusting his elven accuracy from his fellow elves. And the Dragon probably wants to go over here and get involved as well. Glorious attack animations. Look at him swooping around the sky, clattering back into these poor battle pilgrims who have not had a good day whatsoever so far. Looks like the bolt throwers are trying to focus down some more of the elite-ish troops, arms like pole arms and so forth, but I think they want to target down the peasant bowmen. They're the main threat to this build. In the distance, those Illyrian Reavers took a big beating from the Beast Slayers, killed 9 of their units. Star Dragon has decided to float forward at this point. High Elves can kind of afford to do this at the moment. I would push a little bit further forward with the Rangers at some point to try and make the distance between them and the Bolt Throwers a bit of a bigger gap. And in the back lines, we do have a big fat overcast net of Amtork going down, and in comes a fiery convocation. A Phoenix is birthed into life to ring holy fire down upon the enemy. Unfortunately, it looks like he went a little bit of a wrong approach. Going straight down this line would have just slaughtered the foot squires as well as these peasants. Instead, he caught a little bit of both. Nice idea, but not the best execution there from Teclis, who has taken a huge pounding for his troubles here. The Star Dragon as well came with a breath attack, which was kind of whiffed slightly as well on these peasant bowmen. Should have gone after one of the netted troops, but I understand the panic of trying to get those spells active as quickly as possible. The peasant swarm, or the foot swarm I should say, is slowly starting to emerge and appear upon the high elf formation. Teclis doing a good job of cycle charging where possible with the help of the Star Dragon. Should be able to break off a lot of these troops, but he is taking some serious damage from those peasant bowmen. In the front line, the Holy Wardens are leading the charge. Flaming swords held high and a mighty grail behind them. They are charging into glorious combat. Looks like an enfeebling foe has been popped down on the Grail, allowing the Star Dragon to come in and attempt to snipe it. Not a bad effort whatsoever. And these Holy Wardens aren't having the best day either, like their Battle Pilgrim brethren. They're now going to get charged by Rangers. Teclis has popped down as well, really trying to get rid of the Grail as quickly as possible while it is out of position, which is some good target priority from the forces of the High Elves. But Bretonnia aren't panicking too much. All these units are relatively cheap. If they lose a few here and there, it doesn't matter. As long as those peasant bowmen are protected, they will rain fire down on this smaller High Elf force, and every kill will be super valuable here. Looks like we are going to see a comet come down, but I think it was an overcast comet even. Unfortunately, it is dodged by the force of the High Elves, who are pushing forward, chasing down the Holy Wardens as they flee for their lives. Where are the knights? Where is the rider to protect us? The Lord simply cowering behind his shield at the moment before the might of the dragon. Peasant bowmen, though, I'll line up a few more shots. They've been the real backbone so far. You can see them raining fire down on the dragon from afar, as well as Teclis doing some really nice work. Rangers have started to push into the cookie jar a little bit, trying to hunt down those peasant bowmen, but it looks like the foot squires have now sprung the trap. They're going to be charging forward into the Rangers, who are simply outnumbered by this point, will get dragged down, and the Lord, finding his courage inspired by the brave peasants of Bretonnia, launches himself into hand-to-hand combat up against the fey creatures he faces, stabbing them in the face multiple times. Looks like we have another fiery convocation coming down. This time there is no net to stop it, but the Bretonnian player does miss it. And boom, he dodges just last second, but still takes a huge amount of damage, coming down on the peasant bowmen and breaking off those men-at-arms there as the bolt throwers continue to fight unharassed. And this is a big problem of having no cavalry in your Bretonnian builds. This kind of stuff can happen, though those guys must be getting pretty decent value. But again, there's no high elite targets for them to really threaten. Down on the side, a combination of the Star Dragon and Rangers simply munching on some men-at-arms. We need to see some breath attacks, though, coming down on these peasant bowmen because they are still all alive and rather happy right now. Foot squires put themselves on the line to pin in Teclis with the help of that Foot Lord as well, who's battling the beast, trying his best to go toe-to-toe with the mythical creature, but it's going to be a tough fight. Teclis isn't the greatest melee combatant, even on his gigantic bird. He's very expensive though, so he does indeed need to engage in combat to try and get that value back. But if that Star Dragon can come over here and assist, that Lord, even with Deadly Onslaught and Foe Seeker popped, is going to have a bad time. And a big breath attack coming down. Looks like it is slightly missed though once more. The dragon got stuttered, I think, by a load of arrows coming in. That breath attack didn't seem to go its full length there, and the Lord is terrified. And now the Bretonnian forces are really starting to break in the centre pocket and buckle. There definitely needs to be some fat healing going down on that Star Dragon Haver to keep it alive and happy, as the Bretonnian forces have decided just to push forward where possible. Beast Slayers have got onto the Talons, as well as this Mage of High Magic, and they will slaughter her with their mighty halberds, swinging them around their heads with rather aggressive emotions, although there is some more Battle Pilgrims here for support as well. Bolt Throwers running deadly low on ammunition at this point, but they've got some pretty fantastic kills on them, 59, 51. Star Dragon is being forced back and just clattered by arrows into that thick, scaly hide, mainly going for that back tail, it would seem, and the Star Dragon may break here. The dragon indeed is routed, can no longer juke shots. Down to 650 health, certainly needs a heal. And in comes a mighty comet, slaying some of their own beast slayers in glorious peasant fashion, but also wiping out those talons, doing big damage as well to the mage. And who cares if you lose a few peasants on the way, claims this Damsel of Heavens. Really funny game so far, I'm loving the builds. This peasant bowman unit has been terrified, but again it is pinning in Teclis, allowing the other peasants to whittle him down. He's nearly at his healing cap at this point. Still a rather impressive 102 kills, but he is disgustingly expensive, especially with all his toolkits. So he needs to be a little bit careful. He definitely needs to get that value back where possible. And we still have a load of peasant bowmen that's still active. Got 3 units over on this flank. Teclis is trying to shut down the other one, but the brave lord has hopped in the way, regaining his strength and uniting himself in the faith of his people. Going up against Teclis, the big bird. Can he hold the line? He's staggering back, but he raises his sword, an arrow in his rear, but gets a big old smack on Teclis, trying to duel him. Although he is bathed in Holy Dragon Starfire as well. But he holds the line this time, and Teclis is dragged down by the peasantry. Up in the skies, the dragon weeps a tear as its master does fall. Star Dragon did get a nice little Earthblood, would say, not a regrowth, unfortunately, on him. And he's getting slaughtered, though, by those archers. That regrowth completely gone off him now as his health does drop. He comes in, though, trying to get vengeance. He does manage to break off the leadership force of Bretonnia. Both the Damsel and Lord are falling back at this point, but the Star Dragon once more has gone. There's no hills left for you, buddy, and he is going down, although he managed to actually juke an entire volley of shots by getting up into the air. But one of these peasants is going to be a very rich boy. He needs to sever that dragon's head, take it home, mount it on his wall, and I'm sure he'll be a man of myth and legend. And with that, it looks like the high elf player is going to throw in the towel. It's probably justified. His bolt throws are out of ammunition, and all he has is a couple of units of rangers who will fall to the better peasant archers. What a game. Crazy stuff. Some awesome plays on both sides. Some big mistakes as well on both sides. A really good game all round. Very well played to both Eruption and Horus. An excellent, super funny game. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Before we break down the stats and talk about some of those good plays and some of those mistakes, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to give the video a big old thumbs up and subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. It really helps push out the channel a little bit more and get more people involved so we can slowly convert them to this glorious Warhammer game. If you want to support the channel in any other way, I do have a Discord down below where you can get involved in tournaments, send me replays, all that good stuff. We also have a link to my Patreon down there, and you can become a member on YouTube. But wait, awesome stuff by both players. Now, Horus had a lot of good ideas in this. I really liked a lot of his ideas with the big nets coming in with the fiery convocation, but the execution was lacking a little bit, and that really cost him. If he could master that at the beginning, get the fiery convocation all the way down the line, he could have killed 2 units of archers and a unit of foot squires, and all of a sudden the game flips on its head in a click. And also that Star Dragon and Teclis are far more dominant with one of those archers offline. You breath attack one of the other ones, which is netted. And if these things come together a little bit better, he would have been in a very dominant position. Likewise, in the back line, there was some good and bad stuff with the Illyrian Reavers. One of them charging into the Beast Slayers to allow Teclis to escape, which is absolutely fine. Do not be scared to charge halberd units with cavalry, but you must pull back. You can't stay in combat. And one stayed in there a little bit too long and basically got no value whatsoever, whereas the other one did a really good job and hunted down that trebuchet. So, a little bit of give and take on both sides there. Both throws did some pretty decent work, not the craziest damage value across the board. This one doing pretty good though, 1,100. But considering they were fine consistently throughout the whole battle, there wasn't too many good targets for them, unfortunately. And this is a real risky small build coming in, which eventually did get swarmed. Talon's doing some good damage, as well as the Star Dragon. 8,500 damage dealt, 1,300 damage value, 109 kills, but it is an expensive beast, you have to remember, so of course it needs to get even more to really pay for itself properly. Same with Teclis on this mount with his toolkit. He is disgustingly pricey, but still 2k damage value, 14,000 damage dealt is impressive stuff. And like I said before, a little bit better execution maybe would have sealed the deal. I also don't like the combination of the High Mage and Teclis. It is fine bringing a High Mage with Teclis because he has so much magic pool, but he had way too many spells that he was never simply going to be able to use them all. So coming with a Mage and a simple just Tempest, and none of the other spells I think would be more competitive to help Teclis escape from the king and all that kind of scary stuff that kind of fly in the air, or pinning troops so the Star Dragon can attack them. But still very well played to Horus nonetheless. Same for Eruption, really good ideas, really good play all round. It managed to swarm the enemy, just needed to get far more aggressive, push into that back line, peasants swarming all over the place, and shut down those bolt throws a little bit early on. But great protection of his peasant bowman, who literally won him the day pretty much single-handedly. I love seeing the basic lord, and the foot troops in general is amazing. Foot Tonia. But the basic lord did okay. You know, he was only there to hold the line, and he did it pretty well. Eventually pushed back Teclis in the death, and the Dams as well come in with some few dodgy comments of Cassandora, but again, they're pretty hard to pull off, and they are some good fun. Apart from that, it's just cheap and cheerful chaff dotted throughout, slowly dragging down the enemy. One or two troops kind of got a little overextended. The Holy Wardens, the Grail, and I think there was one other unit as well of Battle Pilgrims kind of charged ahead of the rest of the build. The build needed to be really more aggressive, but all at the same time, flanking from all angles and pushing straight down the middle. But despite that glorious play protecting his Peasant Bowman, we can see two... Oh my god, that's disgusting. So of course these guys were all Silver Chevron. Most of them actually gaining another Silver Chevron as the battle went on, so they are a little bit more expensive than your average Peasant Bowman, but despite that, this is a crazy value. 2,200 damage value on this one, 800, 2k, 2.4k, 1k, 1.3k. That is insane. The Peasant Bowman proving they are the true knights of Bretonnia. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.